He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. I heard it today and I got to thinking, which of the world leaders does it most apply to? And then it became obvious that actually the answer is almost all of them. How prescient, as always, from the great John Lennon 50 years ago. The reality is that nowhere men are not listening. Nowhere men are talking and doing, and the rest of us are more or less passively accepting, except in some very exceptional circumstances, to which we shall turn. There's the nowhere man in Paris, who thought that he could threaten the new leadership in faraway Niger, from which France generates 80% of its energy, its power, whilst only 20% of the people of Niger have any electricity at all. France, which has no gold mines, but is the fourth largest holder of gold reserves in the world, where Mali has 585 gold mines and doesn't hold any gold at all. He thought that Mali, he thought that Niger, he thought that Burkina Faso, he thought even the stooges in Nigeria and Chad would follow his orders, that by this day, this afternoon, the new leaders in Niger must vacate the presidential house and reinstate the French puppet. None of it has happened. The Nigerian president, a geriatric former gang godfather in Chicago, I'm not making that up. How else do you become president of Nigeria? Not by having done anything for or in Nigeria, but being connected, shall we say, to the drug business in the Windy City in the north of the United States. He thought he's another nowhere man. He thought he could crack the whip and the Nigerian Senate would agree to his demand to invade their neighbor, against whom they have already cut off electricity, water, and other essential services. But the Senate said, no, we have enough problems in Nigeria without Africans killing Africans for the edification of the French leadership and the leadership of the United States of America. So there will be no Nigerian invasion of Niger. They kind of half thought that Chad would do the invading for them, but they too have refused, meaning that Nigeria and Chad are out of the game, whilst Burkina Faso and Niger are increasingly marching in lockstep alongside Mali. And of course, the great colossus of Algeria to the north, with its military political alliance with Russia going back to the day of independence, has made it very clear and has today moved its tanks to the border with Niger, that any foreign invasion of Niger will have to fight Algeria for every inch of the territory they hope to seize. And of course, anybody who fights Algeria is also fighting Russia. And the Wagner Group, the mercenary Russian group, already present in substantial numbers, working for different African governments, trying to staunch the flow of Islamist extremist fanaticism in Africa, have already arrived in Niamey, the capital city of Niger. It's a token force so far to secure the capital, if needs be, from any foreign invasion. But if you see a lot of Russian transport planes arriving in Niger over the next hours and days, don't be surprised. Thus, France has, like the United States in Ukraine, bitten off more than it could chew and may choke as a result.